Hello and welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We are live at the Camargo Club in Cincinnati on the APTA Network presented by eNet Live. I'm Jerry Bion along with Mark Fischel, and it is time for the men's final. Mark, let's talk about who we're going to see here right now. We're all excited.
Yeah, Jerry, this is going to be a fun match. We have some of the most entertaining players to watch in the game. And we have our number one seed, Steve DeRose and Mark Parsons, playing against Juan Arraya and Jeff Morneau. Steve and Mark are obviously a pickup team, as we talked about earlier. Mark was looking to play because he hadn't gotten much paddle the last couple months. So we ended up playing with Steve DeRose, who's long been known as one of the best players in the country, normally teams with John Lubau, currently ranked 11th. If Steve wins today, this will be the third time in 4 years he's won this tournament with 3 different partners, none of them named John Lubau. That'll be a pretty impressive accomplishment. Steve is just a joy to watch, always has a big smile on his face, got some of the softest hands in the game, roaming around. We saw him hit a shot in the semifinal match, which we decided we were adding to the shot dictionary neither of us had ever seen before.
He's so creative, and he's playing so loosely, and we're seeing him make up shots on the fly. And I think, you know, Mark Parsons, there's not the pressure of playing with a regular partner, so he's free to like roam around, and we're the beneficiary of that.
So Steve is the rackets professional. He is the director of racket sports at the Springbrook Club in New Jersey. And then let's talk about Mark Parsons, because he's truly a remarkable player, 3-time men's national champion. The only person that I can name that has won nationals both as an alpha and as a support player, which is a testimony to what he's out there to do. He's out there to win.
Right.
If that means he hits a lot of balls, great. If it means he hangs on the side wire while Johan Durant dominates, that's fine too.
Understands how to set up and maximize he and his partner's strengths.
And here's a slow motion replay from the semis. This is the Steve DeRose shot that we talked about. And look at the look on Chris Gambino's face when he sees it go through. Yeah, that was truly more. Mark is the director of racket sports at the Siwanoy Club in Bronxville, New York, Westchester County. And in the finals, they're going to be facing Juan Arraya and Jeff Morneau, who will jump to number 3 in the rankings after this tournament. Juan is the director of racket sports at the Greenwich Country Club, and is one of the most colorful, charismatic players in the game.
Not just with his attire only, as we saw last night with his blue and white striped socks.
I thought you were talking about his game now or his behavior?
Well, I said not just.
Right. There are lots of things that are colorful about Juan.
Yes.
His game, his behavior, his outfit.
Yes. You always know when Juan is at a tournament, his energy, the volume, everything goes up.
No, I will say that I think that Juan is, now this is a remarkable shot at set point by Mick Ardoya last night in the first set. I would say that Juan is in.
Keep your eye on Mick. Is on the left. He's the deuce court player, and here he goes around the net post. And look at the look on Mick's face. He did a full victory lap, and the crowd here last night was screaming.
Tremendous shot. As I was saying, I think Juan is in a better place mentally than I've ever seen him since I've known him. Last night there were several opportunities for him to fall apart mentally. I think he had a call reversed at a big moment in time, and he kept it together. He was very supportive of Jeff, and they ended up saving match point in that match in the second set before going on to win in 3. So Juan's talent is not in dispute. That's not what's kept him from winning a nationals. I would argue that Juan is the most talented player ever not to win a nationals. Been to 5 consecutive national semifinals with 3 different partners, and I expect to see him playing on Sunday in Philadelphia this March.
Jeff Morneau may well be the right fit partner for Juan, and I've enjoyed watching this partnership develop over the last couple of tournaments. Jeff is so easy to play with, and he's had success with multiple players. He's self-confident, and he's relaxed, and he seems to know how to read Juan well and help him. I watched them play the final at Sound Shore, and Jeff is very chatty and very light and talks to the crowd and knows when to speak to Juan. He's not looking for anything from Juan because he's so self-confident, and he plays every point the same emotionally, whether it is the first point of the match or whether we saw last night deep in the third set. You cannot tell if he's winning or losing in those moments.
And Jeff is one of the few non-rackets professionals in the top 10 in the men's game. Jeff's an attorney in the Springfield, Massachusetts area.
And I think, that's why Juan is thriving. I mean, obviously Juan very well personally, but part of, I think it is, he feels that Jeff is there, and Jeff is letting Juan play.
Well, interestingly enough, in years past, Juan would have been out late the night before the tournament, would have showed up, 2 minutes before 9 for the match. Last night, in bed at a reasonable hour, got here early. Jeff wanted to hit some balls. They warmed up. You can see they're functioning as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, that's been one of the things that Juan has struggled with, where it's been Juan and his partner as opposed to two being one, which I know you know so much about.
Yep.
I mean, you and Sue for so many years functioned as one. You guys weren't two people playing together. You were one
team. Yeah.
And that's been the hurdle that Juan has had to overcome in order to get to the next level.
And it's interesting you bring that up. I think you see the trend now with all the players who are seriously want to do well at nationals. They want to win the national title. You've got to prepare. You can't just rock up and think you're going to do well on that day. It is the full season, and they're committing to the fitness, the nutrition, the practicing, the mental preparation. I mean, it's a battle. These guys have to mentally stay focused for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, not just in the final, but in the early rounds now. You've got some pickup teams that are really good that you may see in the early rounds.
So that's a great comment, and let's talk about that a little bit, because I think it plays into this weekend. Juan has an almost unique ability to put the ball away, maybe at the top of the men's game in terms of ending points. So he tends to play a lot of short matches, especially early in tournaments, which leaves him fresher. I mean, the contrast last night with Dan Regan and Mick Ardoya, who played an amazing match, they had to have been on court for twice as much time as Juan and Jeff were. So the ability to end points and play short matches is a huge advantage. Okay, so we're getting started. Michael Montalbano is in the chair again, APTA Director of Umpires. And looks like Mark and Steve DeRose won the toss and elected to receive. Juan will be serving, and for those of you who don't know Juan, he's the one in the orange socks and orange shoes.
Now, it's not just a function of style. Those socks are compression socks.
That's a new serve Juan's been working on, where he starts out wide and he serves down the tee, and he feels like it really takes away the big return on the forehand side. So let's talk a little bit about tempo, Jerry. Who do you think has
Who's going to want to play fast?
Who's going to play fast, and who's going to want to play faster?
Well, I don't think Jeff is going to be looking to be playing anything too quickly as far as the tempo. I mean, that's where he's going to have to calibrate with Juan, because Juan's going to want to do that. Clearly, Parsons DeRose, as we saw in the match before, they don't even change ends slowly. They just Steve walks right over the net.
$15.40.
3 fast errors from Juan takes us to double break point in the opening game. If you're going to beat Parsons DeRose, you've got to slow them down a little bit, take a little bit of their confidence away as Jeff misses an overhead.
Game, DeRose,
because too much of their paddle this weekend, actually virtually all of their paddle this weekend has been exhibition-like, where there's just been no stress, no tension, no stopping and thinking.
Right. It's also a function of the personality.
Okay, Steve DeRose to serve.
15 love.
Jeff gets as many lead
15
courts as
all.
anyone in the game. He just hits that ball right on the net consistently. He really places his forehand well. And the net court obviously is a huge advantage.
And there's that returner serve that we saw last night and this morning. Jeff Morneau is the player down the far end.
Without the orange socks.
30-15.
Steve DeRose found Jeff's forehand volley, popped it long. Mark Parsons is at net on the right in the blue shirt. And I think that is going to be the play.
Oh.
Steve DeRose has got
40,
hands of a
15.
wizard. He's at net, such soft, quick hands. He changes direction with the ball, and I think they're going to test Jeff's footwork. Nice blitz by Juan, and more importantly, the control of the speed of the ball that he
40-30.
had once he got to net.
.40-30. Great lob from Jeff.
Because it pulled Mark so far out of the service box, and that set up the opening in front of him.
And watch for a lot of blitzing from Juan behind Jeff's forehand. They've had a lot of success doing that because Jeff's got so much control of the ball.
He does, and he holds it to the last second. All because he's got a very compact, short backswing. When the ball hits the court, all he has to do is bring his paddle forward. It's Mark's first nick, I think. Let's start counting.
I got two so far.
Oh, you have? Mark Parsons is known for finding the nick at will. Lines it up.
Can be a problem when he's teaching.
I'm sure his teams are very good at covering.
Oh, that was set up nicely. Jeff missed the forehand.
Advantage DeRose. Deuce.
That's a surprising miss from Steve.
Yeah, Jeff saw the opening and he was given the short ball.
That blitz from Juan. Great response from Parsons. Wow. Just so much
Advantage DeRose.
pressure.
High percentage shot, went through the middle, got Jeff to reach. Made a forehand reaching volley error.
What a half volley from
Game,
DeRose.
DeRose Parsons. They the first set, 2-0.
Juan played the perfect point and finished second.
But we were talking about before, Steve DeRose does such a great job of taking time away from his opponents because he hits a lot of half volley shots off the deck.
Love 15.
Right away you see Juan's head is down. Does not like to miss one shot. It's important that you stay head up, confident. Don't let your opponent see that you're getting a little disappointed.
They really struggled holding Jeff's serve last night. He got broken the first 7 times he served. Held in the last game he served at 4-3 in the third.
Jeff's got that two-handed on the right side, and he holds it and then he whips it. You see that little dink shot that the one has.
DeRose again in really tight. Great forehand from Parsons.
Oh! How they calling that?
That look good to you, Jerry?
That caught the top of the frame. That is hard to do.
No, it's unusual because usually Mark Parsons runs to the side wire and says, I see it. But here he's actually going to the gate. The rumor has that he's never chased a ball in his life.
Does not want to take the walk of shame.
No. I know you take it for your partner.
This is a good opportunity here for Jeff. Jeff and Juan slow things down.
15 all. Jeff.
Michael Montalbano right on who's serving. I'm surprised to see Jeff coming in behind his serve.
15-30.
He's done that twice now to Steve and missed one volley and got behind the point in the other. You see him staying back for the most part. Caught the seam there. I thought Parsons was really going to drive that ball.
And you keep saying Steve DeRose looking to come in. Any little opportunity where the ball's going down below the level of the net, he's looking to move forward.
He's already in so close. He doesn't have that far to go.
Yeah, and but it puts extra pressure on the net player. They're always, looking to see if he's coming in. They don't have an open court to volley up into. They've got to keep it away from him.
Now here Jeff and Juan are playing almost the one up, one back in the I formation there. Jeff will slide behind Juan. So if the ball goes through, he'll be there to drive it off the back wire.
See that half volley lob that Steve DeRose just hit.
Remarkable shot.
He just makes it look so easy, and it's not.
As Dave O said, he makes everything look easy.
There's Mark Parsons sending up a deep, high lob, pulled one out of the service box,
30,
and then
40.
you knew the next ball was going to be a drive, and he caught the top of the net.
Great play. And Jeff faults. It's 3-love rather quickly.
And it's quick.
Game, DeRose Parsons. They lead the first set, 3-love.
And just Mark and
Here's
Steve are just so
replay of
loose.
Mark's overhead that he hit over the
I'm
fence.
sure he's going to love seeing that.
We're going to have to post that on the website.
There is a shot that Mark hit in the men's final last year that we have to find in the archives and see if John Scott can, for ENA Live, can pull that up, because that was the shot of the match from that men's final.
Okay, Parsons serving 3-love. Great volley. And there's
Love
one
15.
blitzing behind Jeff's return to serve again. Big game for Arraya Morneau to get back in this set. Already down a double break. On that backside ball to Juan's backhand, he holds it so long. He loves to hit that little flick.
Yep.
That one right there. It makes his lob so much more effective because you have to respect it.
This is more of the tempo that Juan and Jeff need.
Mark misses
Love
the overhead
30.
there. Love 30. Great volley from Mark. There's that
Love
topspin
40.
backhand one loves to hit. That little one-hand flick. Such an effective shot. Catches the lead cord.
Great play by Juan. Now he saw that Mark had stayed back. He took the pace off of his return so that he could hit it through and take over the net, and then caught Steve in the middle of the court.
Love
Faults.
15.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
You think he's happy or
Love
unhappy now,
30.
Cherry? It's hard to tell.
Let's take a look at Jeff.
Same is over.
Mm-hmm.
Juan and Jeff will look for the switch of the net to get Juan's overhead in the middle. And there's DeRose again, going everywhere, playing in tight. Oh,
Love 40.
Steve puts so much pressure on you with his movement, his court positioning.
And he can move like that because he knows that Mark is covering him.
And there he's had
15,
someone
40.
DeRose him with Juan in tight, taking time away.
They did that little dink, little half volley dink, get the ball down at the feet. All
Three
right.
faults from Juan.
Game,
Takes us to
DeRose
4-1.
Parsons. They lead the first set 4-1.
Just some sloppy play early.
I think, you know, Juan and Jeff have to just play longer, slower points to have any chance here.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the style Juan wants to play. He
No,
doesn't tend to
he's-
play slowly.
Yeah, but it's not gonna match up well with Steve and Mark. Steve DeRose serving. Up 4-1 the first set. We're at the final of the APTA Grand Prix Midwesterns. We're in Cincinnati, the Camargo Club.
Love
Parsons
15.
misses an overhead and Steve is chuckling. He seems tense about that to me, Cherry.
I've never seen him tense. All right.
15 all.
And this is what tends to happen sometimes with Juan.
Great return.
15,
He gets upset
30.
with himself, making what he thinks is just ridiculous if it's an error. They're all ridiculous. He's so talented.
Mark Parsons catches the nick.
30
That
all.
4 we got?
Yes.
They played 5 games. That seems like a low total for him. That's a great volley from DeRose. That's 6. 5. Great pickup.
It's
40,
just too
30.
fast.
Yep.
It's playing right into Mark and Steve. We're going to see some more creative shot making if this speed continues.
Deuce.
Fault from Steve. You ever see anyone take less time between points than Steve DeRose?
No, I have not.
He
Arraya.
runs back to serve. Faulted there and ran back to serve. Great ball from Jeff. Great two-handed shot from DeRose. Back to deuce. You can see early on that Parsons and DeRose are just making a few more
Advantage
volleys
DeRose.
off of that Morneau return, which has been so effective in the past. They're not getting as many points from the blitzing.
There was a great angle that showed when Juan was playing that backside screen where when he turned, the ball was between him and the net. So he could see where the net players were when he drove that ball. You're practicing your screenplay. Don't just be happy that you're getting it. You want to keep that ball between you and the net so then you have choices to either lob it or drive it.
That was Juan's ball. He wasn't ready.
Game, DeRose Parsons. They lead the first set 5-1.
We just want to give a shout out to our tournament directors, Mark Keevy and Heather Prop, and all the clubs that gave up their courts for the weekend. We had 40 women's teams and 56 men's teams playing here in Cincinnati over the weekend. And within the tournament, the players are guaranteed 3 rounds. So we have multiple draws going on, not just the main draw, and that requires court time and the hut volunteers that are there to make sure the matches go on in time. A shout out to our executive director, Ann Sheedy.
Taxi cab driver, chief head of live scoring.
Whatever needs to be done.
She cooks, she cleans, she does everything. The woman's remarkable.
And I'm very pleased for this tournament to be able to showcase our new graphics and our player stats and bio, and that's all a function of our IT manager, Isabel Caban.
Triple set point for Parsons DeRose. Just lost our picture here.
Okay, we're going to do a radio play-by-play, Mark. Go.
Backhand drive down the line. Brilliant volley by DeRose. DeRose comes in, slashes it.
Down at one's feet, and that is the first set.
First set, DeRose Parsons, 6-1.
And we will be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
Can you identify the culprit?
Well, it all happened so fast, and they look so much alike.
Just look closely.
Number 4. That's him. He ruined everything.
Just identified number 4, take him into custody. You've done the right thing. If you have a problem with your plumbing or water, call Roto-Rooter. We put water where it should be.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Wealth has a new definition. Today, it's being created by all kinds of business owners, entrepreneurs, and men and women in every profession. At Boston Private, we know them personally because they're our clients. And we have the wealth management and private banking expertise to create a custom approach for your financial life. We're redefining wealth management because you're redefining wealth.
Welcome back to the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live. We're in the final of the men's draw, and we've started the second set. Steve DeRose is serving. He and Mark Parsons won the first set.
Steve started the second set pretty much the way the first set went, with a brilliant slash overhead for a winner.
There's a nick off of a ground stroke. We'll have to start a new stat.
For Jeff Morneau, 15 all. Yeah, Juan and Jeff need a good start to the set.
Put Steve DeRose is on the left. He's in the white t-shirt. Showing a combination slash, and then when he got a shorter ball, he hit the roller. Mark Parsons is in the right in the blue shirt. And this is the type of point that Juan and Jeff need to play. Longer, more patient, not give anything for Steve and Mark to step in and attack.
First set was 22 minutes, Jerry. I think maybe DeRose has got a 2:30 flight.
placement of Steve and Mark's overheads are on the court right now that they're dictating. They're placing the ball so Juan and Jeff can't drive. But then they will put the ball in a spot where they want them to drive to set up for them to be able to volley behind. So it's a lot of cat and mouse. Change of speed.
Great get from Parsons.
It's all transition play. And it's seamless. One was in a position where he had to volley up.
30-15.
Great example of controlling tempo. DeRose and Parsons got tired of the slow play, had a couple fast balls. All of a sudden, you had a bunch of transition points. Transition shots. Great play from Jeff Morneau. Boy, Jeff hit that forehand pretty crisply, and Mark swung volley it back at him. Great get from Jeff there.
And you see that? We see a lot more of that little dink shot. The backcourt player is just waiting to get a net player that's slightly away from the net so they can get the ball down at their feet, either with a drive, a hard drive, or a roller, or those little dink touch shots that you see. And the minute the ball goes down, one player moves in behind it, so when the ball gets volleyed up, they're there for the blitz.
Couple of misses there from Steve. Juan and Jeff are up a break. Good start to the set for them. See if they can turn things around. Terry, how would you compare Steve DeRose's play in the deuce court to the ad court?
Well, he's very creative. He's just so creative. So he creates offense from which other side that he's on. And I think, you know, it's been fun for me watching him play with Mark Parsons because it's a different role that he's got. Half volley lob from the baseline.
Yeah, just
and he
from Jeff. That was a great example.
Takes away time. Jeff makes a reaching error.
Wasn't in position. Oh, interesting. So Jeff's moving to have his overhead in the middle now. I like seeing DeRose run in front of the Parsons backhand that time to a half volley lob. Oh, great shot from Jeff behind the Arraya screen. And here comes the slash.
Slash drop. Oh, these.
Parsons knocked our camera out again?
Yeah, I believe so.
Jerry, you're going to have to talk to him about that after the match. 15-all. Great action. Amazing athleticism from players. Great get off the seam. And Steve DeRose is standing inside the baseline.
He just picks spots
15-30.
and gets the player to reach. And again, it's reaching errors. But he finds those different spots on the court.
Great return from Parsons.
15-40.
Right now it's a freight train and it's rolling down the tracks very quickly. They say Steve had a 2 o'clock flight? I'm used to seeing Steve cut in front of John Lubau's forehand because that's understandable, but now he's going in front of Mark Parsons' backhand.
Steve is having a lot of fun. And it's that change of pace
15 love.
that gets the error.
The only thing Steve's not good at is keeping score.
So it's placement, 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 and then bullet.
Another great half volley from Mark Parsons as he catches his 7th, Nick. Does that count
8.
or not? 8?
Yep.
30 love.
Parsons is not a pretty volleyer, but boy is he good. There's DeRose cutting off the Parsons backhand again.
I mean, Steve loves to move, but check this out. I don't think I've seen a deuce court player come all the way over. I mean, how
He had his
cool
outside
is
foot at
this?
Parsons' alley.
But
40 love.
that's what we know about Mark Parsons. He fills in, slides in, he can see what's happening and willing to let his teammate
Game,
flow.
DeRose Parsons. They
As he
lead the
flows
second
over
set,
the net at
2-1.
2-1, second set.
DeRose Parsons won the first, 6-1.
I don't think Steve and Mark have had a match approaching an hour yet.
You know Mark Parsons pretty well, right?
Yep.
What is he doing when he puts his hand up high on the screen in between points and then runs it down? Is it a lucky touch thing, or is he checking? He's not checking the tension of the screen because he never pushes it, but he puts his right hand up like he's stretching his arm out and then runs it down the screen.
I think it's both habit and a way of drying off his hands when it's sweating.
Oh, Shannon Vincent, our tour director, has just told me we have 70 men's teams in the draw. I think I said 56. So that's a lot more teams. You're right, Shannon.
Missed
Well,
return from Steve, 15 love. Here's DeRose again. He misses that one, but boy, great position.
30 love.
Shot he's going to make a lot more than he's going to miss it.
Love.
Well placed forehand from Morneau. Well, Parsons and Morneau exchanging ground strokes.
Why did I come in?
Game, Arraya Morneau.
That was a
2-2
much needed
second
game
set.
for Arraya Morneau to get back to 2-all.
That was a smart play.
Love, 15.
Again, that's a great angle that showed Jeff Morneau holding the ball to the last minute and then driving it off the back screen.
All of a sudden, Steve's missed a few shots the last game and game plus. One was winding up to hit the ball, and it landed about 50, ended up 15 feet away from him. Good thing his partner was ready.
So if you're going to spend time working on your overhead, spend time working on
15 all.
spins. Hitting it harder, faster, down, flat does not help.
Well, it
When
helps
you-
your opponents.
When you get a short ball, you're not thinking
Number
aha
9.
hard.
30,
You're
15.
thinking more spin.
Yep. As Mark Parsons hits his 9th nick. Ten.
I think Jeff Morneau's got to get this lob more cross court and go over Mark like that, more over Mark Parsons' left shoulder. And if Steve DeRose is going to get it, he'll have to travel more there. That's it. He's got to create movement. There you go. Opens up the court, and then he's got the drive.
And one, it's the great slash. Well called, Jerry.
I think that's the play.
That's a ball you don't expect to
40,
see Jeff miss.
30.
That's disappointment. He's got a little momentum going, and then you don't want to make that error.
Two great volleys from Mark Parsons.
There it is.
One misses the volley, tosses his paddle in the air. 3-2. I
I
tell you, Jerry, there is a noticeable difference in how much more solidly Mark Parsons is striking the ball this year as opposed to last.
And what do you think that is?
I think it's related to the paddles. They tried those new paddles last year, and they just didn't hit the ball as cleanly as they had in the past.
Okay, so you saw a little bit of a momentum swing in there with Jeff finding that spot in the court. And let's see if one can hold here, and then when they get back into that next receiving game, see if they can work that plan a little bit more.
One has not held yet.
Yeah, otherwise it's all Steve and Mark having tremendous fun with all these new shot making, and they're so loose and fleet of foot.
Well, at least DeRose is. Parsons isn't covering much court.
Half volley flick lobs, amazing.
And he crushes a backhand from 3 feet on the other side of the hash. One catches a nick, but not a good one.
Love 30.
You better slow down.
What's that expression of yours I like so much,
The
Jerry?
water is going down the drain quickly here. And there won't be any coming back from this.
Love 40.
Wonder if Johan and John are watching.
I know John's watching.
Is he?
Yeah. I think John's probably getting a little jealous, a little concerned with all the success that Steve's having without him.
Nice high lob by Mark Parsons.
Wow.
30,
Mark Parsons
40.
says wow, and he's right. That ball missed by a yard. Big point here to get back to deuce.
Just laughing at the shoelace lob.
I would call his court positioning brazen.
Mark getting down really low on that screen play. Set his paddle early before the ball went into the screen. Oh, that is
Game,
not
DeRose
good for the
Parsons.
team
They
partnership
lead the
chemistry.
second set, 4
No.
games to 2.
Partner hits you in the back of the head.
And look how quickly, no talking between Juan and Jeff, just play. Great movement from DeRose.
Yeah, he got lucky with Juan's ball hitting the top of the net, gave him a little bit more time.
Love 15.
Wow, that was a great
15
spot.
all.
Yeah, a little high. Mark apologized for that one.
Well, I wasn't aiming for him up there at his head. He was aiming for his armpit, and
Yep.
that's a great spot. It's a very difficult place to volley.
Oh, great exchange at the net.
30-15. $40-15.
Just way too fast. Jeff and Juan needed to think about that previous receiving game, where they really slowed it down and placed their lobs. This is all going too quickly.
DeRose misses a
40,
shot and looks
30.
stunned. What happened? How come the ball didn't go over the net for a winner? I don't understand. Great cross
Game,
by
DeRose
Steve.
Parsons. They lead the second set 5-2.
This may be our last
DeRose
changeover,
Parsons won the
Jerry.
first, 6-1.
We're going to have an interview with our winners after the match. That either Lauren Mandel or I will handle. Sounds like me.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our eNet Live, our producers, and John Scott, Tony Tiller, and Brian Brinker. They've done a fantastic job this weekend. I hope you've enjoyed all the matches and the graphics and the slow motion replay. It's helping us showcase the sport.
And one more shout out for Ann Sheedy, who
Love
does such a
15.
spectacular job. Works so hard for the APTA, does so many things. She's just a gem.
And also my fellow commentators, Mark, Lauren Mandel, Dave Olmuller. Lauren's also our
15 all.
content coordinator. She's doing all the posting on the Twitter and Facebook and keeping everybody up to date through the tournament.
$15-30.
One showing us his soccer skills now.
Which would exceed his paddle skills in this match at least. That brings us to double match point.
40.
Oh, what a pickup from DeRose.
We might have to do a highlight reel on the pickups.
30-40.
Wow.
Just finds all parts of the court with this soft touch.
His hands are so supple.
Yep.
Just a joy to watch him.
We get into the baseline to baseline.
That was a half volley lob from about 2 feet behind the service line. 2 match points saved. To Juan and Jeff's credit, they're hanging in there and they're fighting and competing.
Again, it's the
Advantage
touch
Parsons.
and the speed along with the placement. It's deep, it's low on the screen, and it's dying.
But the footwork to put him in position to make the volley was really impressive. As he makes another volley and hits a winning drop volley, and we're done.
Game, set,
Wow.
match.
Well done.
DeRose
They,
Parsons.
those guys played
6-1, 6-2.
outstanding paddle for a new combination. It was not like they've practiced together or played
Wow.
tournaments together.
I'm concerned they didn't get enough time on the court together this weekend, Jerry, because they killed everybody. I don't know they lost more than 2 games in any single set that they played. I guess the first set of the semis was 7-5, but that was it. They lost 6 games in that match, and that was the most they lost in any match all weekend.
And it's a different style. It was a different feel that these guys playing together. I mean, we knew how talented Steve DeRose is, but he's playing all over the court, and Mark Parsons is there, waiting with the bullet, two-handed, backhand, and
really,
touch.
Steve really seems freed up without the burden of carrying John Lubau.
Well, you can say that for people that don't know this relationship.
But Steve has just played remarkably well.
I would say John probably taught Steve everything he knows.
John would say that too, I think.
All right, so that is our third tournament for the Grand Prix Series. So we'll be heading to Boston in 2 weeks.
I'm really excited. Should be a terrific match.
Drew Sawyer
and Johan Durant will be running it, and Mark and Johan will be our #1 seeds. On the women's side, I expect to see most everybody there.
We have a very strong sign-up in the top women are going. There's a lot of points on the line like we talked about. If you have not registered yet, there is still time. Go on to the platformtennis.org.
I'm really excited to see Martina and Gabby hopefully play against Roxy and Liz Cruz, because I think Roxy and Liz really took a big step forward this weekend. I saw more control and patience and better decision-making out of Roxy and Ika, who along with Gabby Niculescu, I think is the most talented player in the women's game.
Yeah, we've got other combinations coming back in that I'm excited to see too. Carrie Delmonico and Jessica Guillot are coming back onto the tour. Kazakevich Prop will be there.
Kerry Flynn, Mert de Molenwald, real good team, who had a great tournament in Chicago, are going to be there.
It's Bodman Hayward. I'm not sure if they're coming from Chicago, but it is a very strong women's draw lining up, as is the men. And like I said, Drew Sawyer has put together this tournament. It's been going the Boston Open for a few years, but this is the first time it's part of the Grand Prix, so we will be there live streaming, and the women are going to be there with us. We're going to take a quick break, I think, and we're going to go and interview the players. But I also want to give acknowledgement to our Hall of Fame inductees were announced last week. So John Harine and Lauren Zink are going to go into the Platform Tennis Hall of Fame at the National Championships in Philadelphia, and we're very excited about that. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go into the interview, and we're on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
Entrepreneurs and men and women in every profession. At Boston Private, we know them personally because they're our clients. And we have the wealth management and private banking expertise to create a custom approach for your financial life. We're redefining wealth management because you're redefining wealth.
Welcome back to the Camargo Club. I'm joined by the 2017 champions, Mark Parsons and Steve DeRose. Steve, this is your third Midwestern title with 3 different partners. Can you describe how playing with Mark was?
That's actually inaccurate. That's my third Midwesterns with 3 partners that are best players in paddle. So that's a big shout out to them. They were incredible.
Mark, I noticed there were several times where Steve was over in your alley hitting balls. I know you're familiar with that playing with Johan Durant normally. How did you like that?
It was normal for me, given Johan likes to come over and hit a bunch of balls. But yeah, no, Steve and I have been kind of gelling all weekend out here, and you know, as my wife texted me last night, she goes, "You two look cozy on the court," and that's a good way to put it. We look comfortable on the court after yesterday, and felt good out there.
Steve, you looked a little uncomfortable without your normal partner John Luba out there. Were you okay without him?
Well, he actually coached us through the semi and final. Without his insights, this wouldn't have happened.
Steve has long been known as one of the best strategists in the game, he and Drew Broderick. We're going to be seeing you guys again at some point in the future?
Look, Lubel lent me Steve for this weekend. I was very thankful and grateful for that. You know, we always have these tournaments where our partners maybe can't play, and we get out and have some fun. And look, it gelled well, and will it happen again? Who knows?
Well, it was fun watching you guys play, and congratulations on your tournament win.